Okay, question to you all. Who of you are planning to go global with your product and solution? Wow, that is few, very few. Well, I'm representing Oslo Medtech, a Norwegian cluster, and I'm here this week with a lot of Norwegian companies, and I'll come back to that. Next, please. Few words about Oslo Medtech. I don't know if you're familiar with the term cluster, but what we do, we have gathered 200 companies, about 170 companies, but also hospitals, municipalities, those that deliver healthcare in Norway, R&D institutions, investors, TTOs, incubators, distributors, service providers in one big cluster. And what we are doing is we're facilitating collaboration with all these actors. In order to succeed, if you are a startup company or if you are a more mature company that would like to scale, you need to collaborate with the right partners. This week, we arrived on Sunday, we're going back on Friday. We learned that the system in Canada and the system in Norway is very, very alike, almost similar. You have the same challenges here and as we have in Norway. So I would guess that also for you that are startup companies in the Canadian system, you need to look for the good partners, whether that is capital or R&D or other partners. So that is what Oslo Medtech do. Yeah, we are part of the Innovation Norway cluster program, and together with Innovation Norway, we have something we call the Fram program, and are here with the 5 companies entering the Canadian market. Next, please. So what are the challenges that we try to do something about? And I think these challenges are the same in Canada, the same in Norway, the same actually all over the world. First of all, we have very large growth in demographical changes. A lot of elderly people are going to, in 10 years, the healthcare system is not going to be sustainable if it doesn't do anything about the way we deliver healthcare. There will be less hands. And those hands that are in the healthcare system, we would like to really use those hands for that type of work that they really need to do. We also see a large increase in the chronic diseases, not only in Norway, but all over the world. And that's the beauty with the new technology, because by implementing new technology, and that's what you do and try to do something about every day, I guess, we can actually deliver healthcare in new ways. Next, please. So why do we focus on this in Norway? Norway is famous for oil and gas. We're famous mainly for fish farming, but healthcare is a new and very large growing industry. First of all, we're quite strong in R&D. We have a lot of knowledge and also a lot of databases. The challenge in Norway is that getting access to these types of data, they haven't figured out how to make one system so that both researchers can easily get access to the databases and also companies. We are working on that, but there's huge potential there. Also, we have a very well-established health system. We have brought up test facilities so that companies that would like to test out your technology in real facilities, like for example ORs, you can knock on the door of Oslo University Hospital and the Intervention Center and actually both test your technology on pigs and humans in the same OR. I don't know about any other facility in the world where you actually can do that. If that is of interest to you, approach me after this seminar. Also, competence and technology. And we are now looking into how we can use technology from oil and gas into the health sector. We were discussing this earlier today. We are part of the state visit from Norway, and I was eating lunch with the Crown Prince actually from Norway, and this is what we did discuss. Quite interesting. Another thing as well, Norway, we are early adapters, I guess you are as well. We have a stable economy, and I did also add a stable political system. And we are also quite open and it's easy to build trustful relations. These are also very good assets when it comes to innovation and starting up companies and building an industry. Next, please. So, a cluster, what do we do? Well, the methodology is about bringing down the barriers, opening up the doors, and making culture for actually collaboration, for increased innovation and international growth. Next, please. The cluster in Norway, this is a picture. It's not maybe that good, but it's more for you to say that within those 2 kilometers, 3 kilometers, you have the largest hospital in Norway. You have test facilities, you have also Rehab hospital, just a little bit further west or east it might be. The University of Oslo with a lot of faculties and students, etc., are part of the cluster, etc., etc., etc. Yeah. We are only 5.2 million people in Norway, not as big as you, almost like Toronto, right? So smaller size, but at the same time, we have a very similar ecosystem. Next, please. I also wanted to enlighten that we are building up a Nordic network of testbeds. So that's back to the question. Are you thinking about going global? Are you thinking about going to Europe? If you need to test out and verify your products and solutions, this might be something for you. We're looking for, companies coming from abroad are very, very much welcome to approach this network. Thank you. I did mention the oil and gas sector. This is a big asset, and I think actually, you have a big oil and gas sector yourself. This also might be interesting for you. If you're looking for technology, where do I find it? Go look in other sectors as well. Could be really interesting. Next, please. Not very good picture here, I can see, but Oslo Medtech and the Norwegian healthcare industry, where are we right now? Well, first of all, we are outside Norway. We're looking into the Nordics. We look at Nordics as the home market. We have been approaching Minneapolis, Bay Area, UK for last years, and now Canada. And as you can see as well, there's huge needs in India. There's huge needs in Japan, China, Pakistan, Middle East. And every person in the world needs good healthcare. So it's a global world out there. So you should definitively start thinking about going global. Next, please. So why are we here? Well, we would like to power up with you to make power couples. Canada and Norway, it's a lot of similarities. I think we can really make, you have something we do not have, maybe we have something you do not have. So let's start collaborating together. That's the invitation. Also, I wanted to highlight that if you would like to come to Oslo, 12th of October this fall, we opened up our incubator facilities, quite cool. And in addition to the incubator, we have co-working facilities, both for national and international medical startups. This is actually the Crown Prince, he was there opening the whole thing. So the facilities is there, and in the facilities you have other companies as well that will help you if you would like to come to Scandinavia and to Oslo. Next, please. Yeah. That was it about Oslo Medtech. What I thought I should do, there are a few of these companies that I will kind of run through that are in the audience. Then they will actually pop up and say a few words themselves. This company, Ably, is not in the audience. I don't think so. No. Ably, they are developing the next generation smart bed. I'm not going to say any much more, but he's using technology in a very cool way. He's a psychologist by training and moving into this space. And if you are interested, you can talk to me after. Next, please. MotiveU is also a Norwegian company. What does it say? Turns elderly people and people with dementia into dedicated athletes. That's what they do. Next, please. Otivio. There is, at least in Norway, I think all over the world, sometimes if you are a smoker or if you have diabetes, you sometimes get wounds on your legs, and they are really, really painful, and it's very hard to get them to grow and to heal. This company, they have developed a booth. It stimulates the blood flow, which makes these wounds actually grow. If you do not get these wounds to grow, you often need to amputate. So this is a very cool thing. Again, they're not here tonight, but they are in Toronto until Friday. So if someone is interested, talk to me. Next, please. Picomed, he is working with smart home technology and systems. We call it environmental control system. He's not here either, so you can talk to me. SoftDocs is not here either. It's a new antiseptic towards antimicrobial resistant biofilms. Okay, next please. This is actually, we have one hospital with us, a rehabilitation hospital. You have a very cool rehabilitation hospital here in Toronto. So I thought, I'll bring our rehab hospital. So they had meetings and start collaborating. What I would like to highlight here is the company Attensi. They are using gamification technology in order to, they actually built a three-dimensional virtual reality system of the new hospital of Sunnaas. And you can make your own avatar and walk in the new hospital in order to actually get to know the hospital. This company is also using VR technology for making people with anxiety healthy again. They're using VR technology for that. Quite cool company, based on gamification technology, now moving into health. Next, please. Sesam is here.
I'm here.
You're here.
Thank you. When you see that picture, it's kind of sad, but what we all think is we want her to survive. And that's what we're doing. We're a software company developing small components that actually supports the whole value chain when it comes to chemotherapy. Meaning the doctor gets some algorithms finding out the cure, going to the nurse after that, and the production site, pharmacy, and back to the patient who has an app at home. So that's one of our solutions. We have other solutions, but the reason why I'm here, I'm trying to find partners, and I'm also an investment company, so we also have money. So talk to me.
That's cool, so. Pedro is also here.
Hello. We are here in Canada. We produce different kinds of aids, and we are here in Canada trying to find a partner. I think we have quite good aids, so we are going to bring them to Canada.
And you will be here for some minutes after as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, Predictor, they actually had to go back to Norway earlier today, but what they are doing, they're actually using technology that they use to measure flow in the pipe, in the oil pipes, many hundred meters under the water, into this thing that looks like a watch. What it's doing, it's measuring the glucose level without pricking any finger. Quite cool technology, and they are almost done with all the clinical trials. So this will be on the market quite soon. Solitor is here.
Yeah, so we're Sanator. We have a headquarters in Oslo, Norway, and then we also have our commercial marketing and sales in Stamford, Connecticut. What we provide is real-time locating systems. We use ultrasound to get 1 to 3 foot accuracy, granularity. Some of you have been over at the table. We can show a live demo for you if you haven't seen it. I got it set up now. I know some of you were a little early there. So some things that we're trying to improve in the hospital, staff flow, patient flow, asset management, asset utilization. For example, in my hometown in Moorhead, Minnesota, my dad goes to the Stanford Hospital and Moorhead Clinic. His biggest complaint when he walks in there, and Sanator is in there, his biggest complaint is he never knows if it's open or closed or not, because there's no one ever in the waiting room. When he walks into the facility, he gets a badge, there's a screen that tells him to go into which exam room, shows him a map. Once he walks into that exam room, the map in the nurse triage station or your mobile phone or your iPad or your Android changes the status of that room to Guy Thorson, my dad, is waiting for care. Once a nurse walks in that room with a tag on, then the status of that room changes to patient in care. Once the nurse walks out, you kind of get it, right? Now the doctor gets a message, gets an alert saying now the doctor, Guy Thorson, is ready to see you. What Sanford found out was that they built the waiting room too large. The architect said, we could have built the waiting room smaller and added more exam rooms. Now in the US, that means more dollars. And yes, I live in the USA, and I apologize. I'd like to start my own small company, right, if you're looking for a roommate. Airbnb is here, but thank you. Yeah.
Good, and just to highlight that one, that company is based on technology coming out of the University of Oslo.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
also why it's headquartered in Oslo.
And ultrasound has a lot of history in Norway. In World War II, they dealt with ultrasound. They're the first ones to create so they could use sonar to lay out the bed of the sea and use it for protection and scan for submarines coming through the bay. So, yeah.
Yeah. And if you might have seen the ultrasound small, looks like an iPhone coming out of GE Healthcare. That is also Norwegian technology. Okay, thank you. Next, yeah. Well, we also have University of Oslo as part of our delegation. They're not here this evening, but we are focusing a lot on research in life sciences, and some of the departments at University of Oslo are actually at a very, very high level also internationally. Good, and then it's Jeanette.
So I promise to say a few words about Innovation Norway first. Innovation Norway is the Norwegian government's, we like to say, most important instrument for driving innovation in both enterprises and industries. We work closely together with clusters like Oslo Medtech. We also support the clusters economically. We think that is a good model of how companies can go together to enter markets outside of Norway. And in this delegation, we also have some young talents with us, and with the election yesterday again, it's probably important to also acknowledge diversity, young people, young talent. We hope to see more entrepreneurs coming into Norway also. That's also, we actually have a Canadian guy in Norway. He's writing books about how it's like being a Canadian in Norway. So look into that. I think it's called I Love Norway or something. He has a Facebook page and everything. A lot of funny stuff was posted yesterday and today on that page. But also want to say we have a group here of 3 students. They're overhead. Could you just raise your hands? They won a competition in Norway for entrepreneurial talent among 100 other young people. They are the 3 winners, and they won a trip to this innovation hub, as we like to look up on Toronto as. So they're here to talk to them, they're here to be inspired, and maybe we'll see them in HealthTech one day. So yeah, and if you have questions regarding Innovation Norway, ask me. We do a lot of financing, both for startups and for established companies, through either grants, loans, we're quite big on loans, and also pre-seed and seed money for Norwegian companies. Yeah, so that's us.
Good.
So,
Come up here.
you know, you talked about being international from day one. I think most Canadians look at the States and go, it's a completely different health tech market. So they say, we'll focus on Canada. Do you find that Norway, are most European healthcare systems close enough to the Norwegian one that's easy to go international day one? No, so how do they overcome it?
When it comes to healthcare, there is no country who has the same system. It's very, very different, and that is one of the most challenging things. And so if you are an entrepreneur, if you are a startup in the healthcare, that is one of the things that you really need to understand and keep track on from day one. You need to do, you might need to do clinical trials in the different countries. I mean, if you go to the States, you need to have your product approved by FDA. You have your own system here in Canada. The Canadian system and the European system, if you go to Europe, you need to have a CE mark in order to market and sell your product there. And Canada and Europe is quite similar. That is also one of the reasons why we now are approaching Canada from Norway. Some of the companies go also, of course, directly to the US, but it's different. But it's different. It's competence intensive, but it's possible to do. Why don't do it? And the thing is that you need to think about these things from day one. Don't wait. Start directly. Agree?
I agree, but no, I'll say the one thing I hear a lot in Canada is Canadians go, we'll serve the Canadian market first and worry about the rest of the world. And I think that's one reason lots of Canadian health tech companies have a problem getting financing, because Americans go, well, Canada's too small.
Yeah.
Which you probably find ironic because we're 6 times your size.
Yeah. Many. I mean, Toronto is about the size as Norway, so we have to think globally from day one, which is good. But don't wait. Start thinking about going globally from day one. Good. Yeah.
Just want to mention, I've done a study in Oslo University Hospital. I think that this is part of the most, I've done a lot of studies worldwide. I think that in terms of innovation adoption and technology adoption, it was really surprising to see how the acceptance from clinicians in Oslo was very rare, and I acknowledge that. So I just wanted to point that out.
Thank you. That was very nice of you. We think we have still a long way to go when it comes to culture and adoption and the speed of it as well. But things are starting to happening in Norway. So thank you. Thank you. Okay. Yep. One more.
I think you mentioned this in your presentation. You talked about how it's difficult to get at the data, the medical data. I'm wondering specifically inside of electronic health record systems and these systems in hospitals that hold all the data, all the patient data. How is it for you guys? That is it just as disparate? Is it just as siloed as it is in North America, or because you guys are smaller, it's a bit more open and a bit more consolidated? And are there problems with that?
Would you like to answer that, Sverre? This is your field.
It's a really good question. It's actually, I think I've heard some speeches during the 3 or 4 days I've been here about your healthcare systems and how you think you're going to share data. It's the same thing happening in Norway, actually, that we have silos, as we have here in Toronto. We can look at one hospital having one EMR, and they have the other one, 50 yards away, and it's another system and it's not integrated. So we have the same in Norway. But on the other hand, we have national initiatives where they're building the blocks from day one now with a general, let's say, a repository, and we are trying to put data into those repositories and share them. So we're building slowly, and then we're opening up APIs to vendors like us to make sure we can use those data. But it will take time, as it will here.
So it's a government initiative to open it up.
Definitely. We got a directorate, e-health directorate is a new entity in Norway taking care of that. So we think it's a good thing in one way, but it's another bureaucracy thing, so it's complicated. That's it.
Thank you so much, Kathrine, and thank you for everyone from Norway for being here.